Hello everyone and welcome to the only positive mental health program out there, the Chrissy B Show. Every year some 10,000 men lose their lives to prostate cancer and over 2,000 others have their world turned upside down by a diagnosis of testicular cancer. And for this reason, many charities and campaigns were set up to raise awareness to help prevent and fight these illnesses. And here at the Chrissy B Show, we want to do our part for Male Cancer Awareness Month. Now, according to the Institute of Cancer Research in London, cancer is a disease of the genes caused when DNA damage becomes fixed in the cells of our body. Anyone can develop cancer as they age, and genetic damage builds up in cells. But the genes a person inherits, their lifestyle and their environment all contribute to their risk. And to tell you about the types of cancer that affect men, here's an A-list film star speaking about a male cancer awareness program, One for the Boys.
Hi, I'm Samuel L. Jackson, here to speak to you about One for the Boys. This is a male cancer awareness program. It's to let you know that men are affected by cancer as well as all the women that we hear about. Men get breast cancer. The primary cancer that we are associated with, mostly as men, is prostate cancer, sometimes testicular cancer. But we also get breast cancer, we get brain cancer, we get pancreatic cancer, we get cancer of the skin from being outdoors in the sun because we are men. But because we are men, we tend not to go in and be tested because we think it's not the manly thing to do. Well, I'm here to tell you, it is the manly thing to do and it's the responsible thing to do. And we hope that you will join us in creating an awareness of male cancer and how important it is to go in and be tested and to get early treatment. This is Samuel L. Jackson talking to you about One for the Boys.
Thanks very much for that. So let us know if you're doing anything for Male Cancer Awareness Month by tweeting us at Chrissy B Show or commenting on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. We'd love to hear from you. So we have a number of special guests today, starting with mother and son Debbie and Ethan Garcia, who share with us their encounter with cancer. And we have social worker Urvashi Tripathi from the charity CLIC Sargent to tell us what help they offer. And later on, I'll be sharing my own tips on how to get into the right frame of mind to face a battle ahead. But first, let's welcome the lovely Excel Ishimumu, who has all the latest news. Hello, Excel.
Hello, Chrissy.
How are you, my love?
Well, I'm very well, thank you, and I'm glad to be here with you as always.
So a very important subject that we're covering today.
Absolutely, absolutely, very much so.
So you have some news for us, don't you, to do with this?
Yes, I do. I sort of did some background research as well from, there's this sort of particular national male cancer charity called Orchid that have compiled a few statistics about male cancer, and they say, every year, 43,000 men in the UK will be diagnosed with prostate, testicular and penile cancer. Those are the three the charity focuses on. And it says of these men, over 40,000 will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, over 2,200 will be diagnosed with testicular cancer, and 500 will be diagnosed with a rare penile cancer. And sadly, the numbers are increasing according to them. The leading charity, Orchid, is the leading charity on behalf of anyone who has been affected by any one of these three in particular. And it was established in '96 by a testicular cancer patient, Colin Osborne, who has since been given an MBE, and the oncologist who saved his life, Professor Tom Oliver. And they make a lot of awareness about male cancer. And actually something to mention as well, in the month of June, they're taking the whole month of June because we also have Father's Day in June. And so they're taking the month of June to sort of say, talk to your dad and make him know the signs and specific symptoms of different types of cancer. So they're calling it Get Dad Talking. So it's hashtag
brilliant.
Get Dad Talking.
Okay, because we are going to be doing a show on Father's Day as well very soon. So that's an excellent idea that they're doing there.
Absolutely, I think it's very,
Instead of
very
giving
important.
the old tie and the usual socks and stuff for Father's Day, this is something that could...
multi-screw, whatever, hammer set or something. Now, get talking about cancer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
really good.
It's important to know. I looked into some famous men as well who have had cancer. Richard Roundtree was diagnosed with breast cancer in '93. He survived after a radical round, several rounds of chemotherapy, as well as he had a mastectomy. So he literally had to cut off both. Yeah. which, you know, I mean, breast cancer does affect men, as you know, has always been said, but I think it's rarer, obviously, than in women. So he was the only one I found, actually, with breast cancer.
That is an important one to mention, though, because men might sort of feel their chest and think, oh, it's a lump, it's nothing.
Yeah. Oh, it's a muscle forming. My
it's something. It's something, but actually, you know, they need to also check out and examine themselves as well. It's not just the ladies anymore, is it?
And if you look at it, because a lot of these things as well, we talk about genetic, you know, it's a genetic link as well. So if you had a mother, for example, who has had cancer, breast cancer, it is important to also note that, you know, you are also in a high risk of developing it, even though you're not female. So I think it's also important to definitely. Lance Armstrong, the popular sporting fraud, as we now know him to be, well, he was diagnosed with testicular cancer in '96, and it was so severe that it had spread to his brains and his lungs and his abdomen. And so this was what sort of raised the awareness for him to start. He was given a 50-50 chance of survival, and he
survived even though it went to all those places. Wow.
Yeah, because that's what they say, he was given a poor chance of survival.
Yeah.
And so because the one thing I saw a quote about it that he said he looked at it as if it was a race, as if it was a competition. And I saw that it was me versus him or her or it being the disease. And I absolutely hated him or her or it. So when the blood work came back and I was getting better, I felt like, well, I'm winning. The scoreboard says I'm winning. And I viewed it as a fight.
That is so important, the way you look at an illness or a battle, which we are going to be speaking about later on. Because because I think it's important as well. Although it might be something that people would say so final when they hear the word cancer. I mean, in looking through different people's stories as well, they talked about the minute they got told, oh, we found something, they just feel like there and then they've died. Yeah. And it's important, your outlook, it's important the way you see it, and that was why I had to quote Lance here, because if you see it as a battle, you have to see that you're winning this battle. In '99, Rod Stewart was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and he underwent surgery in 2000. And after the surgery, he had to relearn how to sing, which is quite important, I have to say. Imagine if he couldn't do that anymore, livelihood was gone. Yeah. In 2000, comedian Tom Green was also diagnosed with testicular cancer, and in his endless quest to find the funny side in everything, he decided to do a cancer special titled the Tom Green Cancer Special, and he intermingled advice and sketches, and it showed him as well undergoing treatment, and he just basically had to see the funny side of it. He has since made a full recovery. Robert De Niro also had prostate cancer. I didn't know that. Yeah, he kept it quiet because he's one of those who he doesn't really kind of want to, because I think his dad as well, from what I gather, had suffered it, so he really kept it on the down low. However, because he's quite fit and he goes for regular checkups, he discovered it quite early, and he was able to get the treatment get it in there. And like I said, his father had died of the same disease in '93. So following regular checkups and everything, he was able to undergo surgery in time, and now he's considered cancer-free. Great. Colin Powell, the former Secretary of State in the US, he also had he had prostate cancer. He had an operation to remove a cancerous prostate gland in 2003, and since then he's become a very, very active supporter of prostate cancer awareness, and he devotes his time to Prostate Conditions Education Council, which sponsors the Awareness Week every September. So, you know, he keeps he's grateful that, and he keeps going on about how men should go for regular prostate exams because it allowed him to deal with the problem early and make a full recovery. Also found the former mayor of the New York City, Rudy Giuliani. He also knew heartbreak that prostate cancer could cause even before he was diagnosed, because his father also died of the disease 19 years earlier. This was in 2000, and he was determined not to have the same fate as his father, and he chose a multi-phase treatment plan that consisted of hormone therapy, radioactive metal pellets in his prostate, and 5 weeks of almost daily external beam radiation. Gosh, that sounds serious. It sounds painful even mentioning it, but it says the plan was aggressive but successful. It has left him in both good health and good spirits. But you have to be mentally strong to do that as well, to do that kind of treatment.
Absolutely, because I mean, all the different things, I know people sort of say, oh, it's cosmetic, your hair falls out and all of that, but it really does take a knock think it takes a knock-on effect on your body in general, because all of this treatment is really...
Of course it does, yeah. I remember when my dad was going through it, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It's just, he didn't feel like eating, he just basically lost the will to live.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah.
It was awful. Excel,
yes.
you're going to stay, aren't you?
I am.
Because later on we'll be discussing actually how to face not just an illness, but any sort of battle in your life, how to be mentally strong to deal with that. So don't go away, Excel. All right, and you guys at home, don't go away too, because after the break, we'll be talking to mother and son, Debbie and Ethan Garcia, and they've got a remarkable story to tell us. See you in a sec.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
We're back here at the Chrissy B Show, and today is all about Male Cancer Awareness Month. And right now I'm joined by Debbie and Ethan Martin Garcia, and this is to show also that cancer can hit anyone at any age. So let's meet them. Hello, guys.
Hi.
How are you both?
Fine, thank you.
Alrighty, so obviously you've both had a difficult time because Ethan, you were diagnosed with cancer when you were how old?
14.
14, you're now
17.
17, okay. So can you take us through sort of what happened, how you realised something was wrong, who maybe noticed first?
Oh yeah, it was actually my mum. I was playing basketball this maybe a week or two before, and I got hit in the exact same side. I actually eventually had the cancer on. So when the lump grew there, I thought it was just a subset from the basketball, and thought it was just an injury until my mum realised it was something different because it grew quite large, and she started to take me to the doctors.
Okay. So
Well,
you
basically, we were sitting watching TV. I'm a very tactile person, so I was rubbing Ethan's back and felt a lump. And I said to him, "What happened to your back?" And he said, "Well, I was playing basketball and the guy kneed me in it." So I said, "Let me have a look." And I lifted up his top, but there was no bruising around it. It was just a lump, which to me was a bit strange, because if it's a injury, there should be a bruise.
That was very perceptive of you, though, because someone could have just said, "Oh, it's just going to go away. It's just the injury, and let's not worry about it." But you took it a step further.
Yeah, because my daughter had cancer 10 years previous.
Okay.
And even though it wasn't a lump, it was a swelling, unexplained swelling of the neck.
Yeah.
So for me as a mum who had been through that previously, I'm more aware and more alert to things like that. So we did go to the doctors, but they didn't think it was anything.
Really?
Yeah, he was misdiagnosed. They believed that it was from the injury, but they believed that it was the tissue that just got inflamed.
Oh,
and so they said that it will go down. I did stress to them that it didn't have no bruising. And they said, "That's right, but the bruising could be going on in the inside." So that was their explanation.
Oh, wow. So then what did you must have done something obviously after that. Did you go to get a second opinion?
No, they said come back in 4 weeks' time.
Oh, okay.
So if it's still the same, so we went back, and then they said come back again if it still looks the same, or if it's got larger, and it didn't go away, and
Was
it just
it
got
bigger
larger.
or was it the same?
It became more solid.
Oh, yeah.
So we went back, and I asked for him to have a scan at that point, and they did say he would have a scan, but again, you have to wait for the scan.
Okay.
And when we went for the scan, they said that they would recommend MRI, but you have to go to a consultant for a consultant to recommend for MRI.
And when you obviously got the news, how, as a mother, having already been through it, what was going through your mind, Debbie?
I was just a bit bewildered. I was saying, I didn't really say why, in terms of why happening to us, but I kind of thought, well, my daughter had this, my best friend had breast cancer, and now my son. And I felt as though there was something about it that I just had to do something. It was like, this doesn't just happen to families like this, just for nothing. So it kind of made me realise I need to have a voice and to speak about this and not be silent, because I was silent before.
Okay.
But I was, as a mother would be, I was just really taken back, because I really didn't expect it to be what it was. I didn't. That wasn't what I expected at all.
How about you, Ethan, when you heard that? Because obviously you'd seen your sister go through it, or known of your sister going through it.
At first, I never really made the link to my sister or my auntie there. So I was just really, once again, taken back. I was shocked. I never really believed it happened at first. It kind of just like really absent-minded, and I was just literally just coasting through, and I was like, tears just started to roll down my face, but I never really felt sad inside or angry. I just was really absent-minded till about maybe an hour or two later when we got home, and I got past sad, and I just got really angry and just trashed everywhere in my room and started crying and sitting down, because at that point just too much information had flooded me and I didn't know what to do with it. So I just all emotion just started flaring everywhere, and I just went through loads of different stages of grief and anger and depression, upset, all very quickly, and it all happened within one day. And then shortly after that, my mum just told me to come to her room. I just sat down there with her and she just calmed me down, and it didn't really make all the emotions go away, but made them come to a lesser effect.
Okay. And obviously you pulled together, your family pulled together and for support. How important was that for you, Ethan?
That was probably the biggest thing that could have ever happened. Without family or friends, I probably think I would still be just as depressed as if I still had it now. You don't realise how good you actually still have it, even though you're going through such a tough time. You don't realise how good you have it, because you still have people there that are for you, and you still do have your life, and when you're doing it, you can still fight on, you can still do it, but you can't really do it alone. So when you have family and friends there, that can be the major turning point that makes you be a better person in general.
What kind of mindset did you have? Because obviously after the initial shock, right, you still kind of in shock, I suppose, all the way through it, because you still can't believe it's happening to you. But what kind of made you fight it, or like kind of have the attitude, well, this isn't going to beat me, I'm going to beat this? Or did you have that attitude?
At first I never. At first I was just really depressed, and I never really thought about trying to even come back. I just thought, let me just do one day at a time and see what I'm going to do tomorrow, not really going to think about what's going on. But then there was certain events where I came, like, saw my friends coming up, and it really shocked me, because they was taking days off of school where they needed to do the revise for GCSEs, but they came up to see me instead. So it really hit home to me that people actually do care about me, that what I'm doing doesn't only affect me, it affects other people around me. So me being depressed inside is actually quite selfish, because it's going to make other people upset as well. So I decided to not only be happy for myself, but be happy for the people around me, so they could also be happy.
Yeah. You must have been so proud of him.
Yeah, and I'm exceptionally proud. His resilience was just amazing. The strength that he showed.
I wonder where he got it from.
The strength that he showed throughout was just amazing. After he did trash the room, I got everyone in the front room. We did all cry, and we all hugged together, and then I said to Ethan, now you need to go and tidy your room. And what we did, we actually...
That's funny, sorry.
But what we did, we set a rota on what we was going to do, who was going to do what, who could be at the hospital. We made a date, and we all sat down and worked out what we was going to do, so that it could flow smoothly, so that Ethan wouldn't feel as though he's... it's all about him and he's taking up everybody's time and things like that. But we all worked it out. And his brother, that's Daniel, he's got 3 other brothers. He's the youngest of 5. Yeah. He just sailed through with helping, with the support. He would stay with Ethan at the hotel.
What an amazing family.
Well,
and an amazing mum as well.
Thank you.
Excellent. But you're going to stay with us because we are going to be bringing on someone from a charity that actually gave your family a lot of support, and it was really helpful. That'll be after this break. And right now, I'm going to show you another video and showing you how important it is for everyone to go and get themselves checked out, especially if you've received a letter from your GP or your local surgery. It's really, really vital that you do not ignore any of these letters or advice from your doctor. Or if you want to be more proactive, there are plenty of cancer checks you can get done. And for more information, do check with your GP. So here's some information about one of the types of cancer that men in particular can get.
My name's David Neal. I'm a professor of surgical oncology here at the University of Cambridge, and I'm also a consultant urological surgeon dealing with cancers that affect mostly men. Testicular cancer is an unusual cancer in that it affects mainly young men aged between 22 and 35 most commonly. It's an uncommon cancer compared with other common ones like prostate and so on. But men are at risk if they're young, and particularly if they have a family history, if they have a father or brother or uncle who's had testis cancer. There is a familial effect of it too. The most common way that testicular cancers present is with a swelling or a sense of heaviness in the scrotum, and frequently men will notice this when having a shower when they're in the bath, or sometimes their partner will notice it. But that's the sort of thing, it's the common way that testicular cancer presents. The process is that they go and see their GP, and hopefully the GP would send them on what we call a fast track. That means that they would be seen in the urology clinic within 2 weeks. And when they go there, the urologist will examine them, confirm that there is a swelling within the scrotum, and quite often would get an ultrasound scan done. And this is a straightforward thing. It's nothing to be frightened of. It just means putting a small probe over the testis, and that gives us a picture of whether the swelling is, for instance, a cyst, which may be very benign, or whether it's a solid lump, which may indicate it's a tumour. I think men, when they're given this diagnosis, are very scared. They're worried whether they're going to survive. They're worried about their sexual function, and they're worried about their fertility. And one can be pretty reassuring about most of those things, in that sexual function should be preserved entirely normally. So far as fertility is concerned, nowadays a man should be offered sperm banking when they go to see the urologist. There's a very, very high chance that men will be cured, even if they've got very widespread and advanced cancer. And this is a very important message that men need to be given right at the beginning. The main treatment initially that all men will have is surgery to remove the testicle. That's the standard way of dealing with the disease. And in fact, for many men, that will prove to be curative, and that many men will not need any additional treatment to that. But some other men, where there's a risk that the tumour may have spread, will be given either chemotherapy or will be given radiotherapy, depending on the particular subtype of the tumour involved. Well, the initial orchidectomy, that's the operation to remove the testis, is a relatively minor job. It's a bit like having a hernia repair, usually done as a day case. There'll be a bit of soreness in the groin, but usually people will recover pretty quickly. Often the man should also be offered the placement of a prosthesis or an artificial testis if the man wants that doing at the same time. It looks pretty normal. It feels a little bit different. It's a bit harder than a normal testis, but from a distance it looks okay. It's very important that men check their testes from time to time. They're just near the surface of the skin. They're easy to feel. Men actually do feel them from time to time, pretty well most days. So if you find a lump and you're worried, go to see your GP. That's the main message.
What a very informative video. Now next up we'll have social worker Urvashi Tripathi from charity CLIC Sargent, who helped Ethan during his dark period. We'll be right back.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Hello and welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. Now today is all about Male Cancer Awareness Month. So before the break, we had Debbie and Ethan Garcia talk about their encounter with cancer. Now before we meet our next guest, who's from the charity CLIC Sargent, let's find out what this charity actually does.
When the doctor told me that it was cancer, I done what I normally do with everything, and that's tried to make a joke of it. But then I looked over at my dad, and I just seen one tear just roll down his cheek, and then I realised this wasn't a joke. During my treatment, I moved hospitals, and it was CLIC Sargent that was the one constant that remained in the transition. All my doctors and nurses changed. When I left hospital, I was just happy to be out, but very soon I really was keen to get my life back on track, and that's when Tracy really came into her own, because with the increased weight and having not have been able to establish a career, my confidence was really low.
My role as a young person's community worker is to help them manage that transition from treatment to recovery, to help them look at their short-term and long-term goals and just get their lives back on track. Hopefully the added value of the role that I'm in is to offer Haroon and other young people the chance to meet in a setting which is comfortable for them.
Tracy helped to get my career back on track by helping me refresh my CV. We then looked into seeing what work placements were available. She also really encouraged me to take on additional voluntary work to try and enhance my skill set. And whenever I was put forward for an interview, she would make sure that I was well prepped. If it wasn't for Tracy and CLIC Sargent in general, then I definitely would have been a lot more demotivated. It's a tough job market, no matter who you are. And then going through cancer as well just makes it that much more difficult.
So having someone who's separate from family and friends, who you can just be yourself with and be how you are, has been really key.
In terms of the future, things are definitely looking a lot brighter. I've got a really good start in a career, and in terms of weight loss, I've lost 3 stone out of the 6, which according to my mother's not enough. And as Tracy once said to me, cancer is only one chapter of my life. That chapter has now closed, and now I'm looking to move forward, and it was CLIC Sargent that made that possible. From the bottom of my heart, I would really like to thank all the supporters of CLIC Sargent. For me personally, they provided me support and provided constant guidance throughout my treatment. And if it wasn't for CLIC Sargent, things would definitely have been a lot more darker and difficult. And it's great to see that this support is available, and I really do hope that this will be available to all young people who are affected with cancer.
And now we're also joined by Ethan's former social worker, Urvashi Tripathi from CLIC Sargent. Hello.
Hi.
So lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much.
So amazing video there.
Thank you.
So can you tell us a bit more about the charity and other ways that it does help people?
Sure. CLIC Sargent is a national charity, and we support all children and young people with cancer. We're based throughout the UK. We're in 21 main treatment sites all over the UK, and we aim to meet all children and young people who have been affected by cancer.
Okay. It must be kind of particularly difficult because you are dealing with young people, and you know, we all have this idea that young people don't get sick and they don't get things like cancer, even though we know they do, but it's still seems like a foreign thing to happen, really. How is it sort of, does it take a particular kind of person to work for CLIC Sargent, maybe, would you say?
I think at the end of the day, it's very important to have resilience and to be able to recognise that these are young people who are going through a difficult time, but at the same time, they're still young people. They still want to achieve the things that other young people are achieving out in the world. So what CLIC Sargent aims to do is not only support the young people whilst they're going on their treatment, but also to support them meet all their milestones which they need to, which is to ensure that they are accessing the right education still, that they still are getting support to live fulfilling lives after they finish treatment. So we do try and support young people from the beginning of their journey, from the onset, from when they're diagnosed, right until they're done with their treatment and actually need the support to get back into the normal things that they would be if they didn't have the diagnosis.
Okay. And what was it like working with this lovely family here?
I was really honoured to know Ethan and to work with his family. I think Ethan showed a remarkable resilience. He's developed into a really fine young man, you know, doing lots in his life. And, you know, when Ethan was first diagnosed, he was so overwhelmed by his situation. Understandably, it was a very difficult time for the family. He was able to put that behind him, focus day by day on what he needed to achieve, focus on his treatment, get through that, and just use that to give him all the support that he needed just to move forward.
And Ethan, how important was Urvashi's support for you at the time?
She was very important. She was just exactly like the family and friends. I didn't see any real difference. Yeah, it was just someone to come in and support me from the very beginning to the very end. So someone I could always depend on, no matter what. You know, whether if my friends couldn't make it up or if family wasn't there at the time, I would always knew I could look to her to see anything.
What was the particular help that you actually gave for Ethan?
So with Ethan and his family, I was able to offer them financial support, advise them about some financial grants that CLIC Sargent are able to offer.
Okay.
In addition, I was able to help him apply for the benefits which he was entitled to. We have a dedicated...
Which is all very important, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And we have a dedicated welfare advice line that offers families the advice and support that they need in terms of knowing what they are entitled to. In addition, just offering the practical support. One of the main supports that CLIC Sargent offers is a home from home support, which is free accommodation close to main treatment sites, which CLIC Sargent have set up, where families can stay free of cost, and where families are able to sort of be closer and be closer to the treatment centres, and that they are able to use to offer the support that they need.
Yeah,
yes,
so nice. All right, now Ethan, let's give a message now to maybe men, actually everyone out there who maybe has been diagnosed with something and is feeling really like, you know what, I'm not even going to fight this, I'm not going to bother, I can't take this, it's too much for me. What advice would you give them as a young man that's been through it and come out on the other side?
So it's really difficult to give one piece of advice because loads of people have different mindsets. But one thing I'll definitely say is, if you feel like you've hit rock bottom, that means there's nothing to lose, and to just always aim for the stars, because once you feel like you're in the lowest place, you can't go any lower than them. You should have everything to look forward to. Everything in your future is 100% better than it is today, and that you can always be better. And you're not only affecting you by your actions, but you're affecting everyone around you. And you can hurt a lot of people and help a lot of people just with your actions alone, just the way you speak to people.
Okay, what is it you're doing now?
I'm doing a lot of different things. Trying to still do basketball, trying to write 2 books actually. Written a lot of poems as well. I don't know, I'm gonna try and release them to people just, in the world general. Learning languages as well. I've been learning Japanese for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Spanish,
Okay.
French now. It's going to start picking up Chinese and Vietnamese soon as well. So yes.
I think we need another show just to go through what he's doing now.
Yeah, there's loads of
Brilliant,
different
that's
things.
great, that's great news. Excellent, you're going to go far, I know.
Thank you.
Debbie, how about you? Maybe advice to mums at home whose children have been diagnosed, or husbands, family members, what would you say?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's important for the support. I know that it does affect us individually, but you have to step outside of yourself and be that support for the person that's going through that process. I know it is exceptionally hard, but it's necessary for them to see that they are living normal, not to wear kid gloves and, use cotton wool on them and stuff like that. Be real, let them be themselves, because Ethan was able to be himself and just be there to support them, but not have these kid gloves on and tiptoeing around them. It's important for them to be themselves.
Brilliant, okay. And finally, I'll leave the final word with you, Urvashi. If people want to get in touch with CLIC Sargent and get access to the services you offer, what can they do?
Sure. I mean, a lot of young people who are being diagnosed with cancer will have access to us at the hospital where they are having treatment. We'll get to know about them, we'll be able to offer them support. But in addition, you are able to just, get in touch with us through our website and, give us a call and let us know what's happening for you, and we'll be able to support you further.
Okay, we've got the website there at the bottom of the screen if you guys at home need that information. Thank you so much. You've all been brilliant. Lovely speaking to you and really positive. Thank you so much. All right, so do stay tuned, because after the break, I'll be rejoined by the lovely Excel to share tips on how to get into the right frame of mind to face any battle ahead. So don't go away.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back, you beautiful people. Now today we've learned about why and where you can get checked out for any potential health issues you may have, particularly cancer checks, as it's better to catch it early than too late. So now we're going to be discussing how you can get into the right frame of mind to face any battle ahead, whether that's an illness or another issue. And I've got Excel back with me here.
Hello, Chrissy.
Now, we were speaking, hello, my darling. We're speaking about how important the mental attitude is, among other things, or that we're going to discuss right now. So the first one is to wake up differently. So maybe at the moment you hear your alarm and you literally drag yourself out of bed. So this time, do something different. Decide that you will wake up in a different way to what you normally do. So even if this means you have to change your alarm so that it plays a cheerful song, do it. And also say in your mind, or even out loud if you want to, today is going to be a great day. I am going to win. So you probably find this a little bit weird at first, but do keep doing this because it will become like a habit. And the important point about this is actually, Excel, is you can't actually think of two things at once. So the only way to kind of get rid of those negative voices that come is to kick them out with a positive. Yeah, absolutely. You have to replace them with something.
Because I think if you don't, then that's when the sort of negative will take over, and it's important to have that positive frame of mind, because with that frame of mind is when you can really beat the cancer. So
the second point is to be in the moment. Now, this is something that I have to be particularly careful of because I am guilty of this, but I am working on it. So there are times when I'm out somewhere with a friend and, you know, we're having a nice time chatting and stuff, but there are times when my mind is actually elsewhere, thinking about what I need to do when I get back to work, for example. And Excel knows this all too well. She knows this about me. So you really need to actually take time to enjoy and savor those little moments, as these will actually make you more positive. Because if you're dwelling on the problem or dwelling on other things constantly, and you know you're not actually enjoying the other good things in your life, you'll become very negative. Do you do that as well, or was it just me?
Well, I suppose as women in general, we are kind of a bit guilty about that, because you're thinking, oh, okay, after here, I need to cook dinner and I need to do the laundry, I need to do that. So I think we all do it to a certain extent, really. So I think it's when you kind of get completely distracted where you're not concentrating on what you're doing, I think that's where it becomes a bit of a problem. But yeah, definitely, especially, you know, having something so traumatic or something so, you know, overwhelming in your life, just concentrate on the little things that matter. Spend time with your family. If you're spending time with them, enjoy that Scrabble game, enjoy that game of Twister, whatever it is, any outing you go on, absolutely enjoy it, for sure.
It's true, because especially like if you are going through some kind of health issue, maybe you have a hospital appointment. Yeah. You know, you've got that later on in the day. Yeah. And then you maybe with your family in the morning or something. So enjoy that time with your family. I know it's kind of hard to kind of block out the hospital appointments and all these things that you've got to do, but there's no point, you can't change anything at the moment.
Because then it kind of absorbs your life all the time, and that's no good. You know, enjoy the different things that you have to do throughout the day.
Definitely. The third point is to look after your health. Now, this is so important in helping you to face your battles, because what you eat affects your mood. So for example, when you eat protein, it actually stabilizes your blood sugar, which helps you to concentrate. But when you eat too many carbs, you get sugar highs and then these sugar crashes, which can make you feel very, very low. So if you're already facing something really hard in life, adding to low moods is not going to help. So make sure you get enough protein. And actually, we do have a video, Excel, because when you eat more protein, it actually makes you calmer and more focused and happier. Yep. Good, isn't it? It is. Should we take a look at this video?
Hello and welcome to the MTS Kitchen. My name's Hannah Richards, and today I'm going to show you how to make some really healthy protein balls. For this recipe, all you need are some prunes, blackberries, flaked almonds, walnuts and some chopped nuts. Walnuts into a big mixing bowl, flaked almonds and some chopped nuts, your prunes, which again will just make everything stick together, and then your beautiful blackberries. I'm going to leave a few of them off to the side. I'll show you in a minute why. So now for the bit to get stuck in. With a clean pair of hands, crush everything together. And you can see that beautiful color of the blackberries coming straight through and staining all those nuts. Beautiful. Once that's all mixed up, I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and I'm going to mix that through the recipe again. So then just take little bits off into a small bite-sized ball and put them on the plate. The blackberry has really given them a beautiful colour. And the last thing that I'm going to do, and this is again just personal taste, I'm going to sprinkle them with some cinnamon. So I'm just going to tap it around like that. So there you have it, blackberry and cinnamon protein balls. All that you need to do now is put them in the fridge for 5 to 10 minutes, then you'll eat them, and then you can store them in the fridge again.
So thanks very much to Hannah for that from the Move 360 kitchen. So now it's time for the fourth point, and this one is a very famous quote, love your neighbour as yourself. Now you might be thinking that I'll be talking about how good it is to do things for other people, but that's not my point here. So let's read that again, love your neighbour as yourself. The problem that many people, the difficulty that many people have and the problem that they have is they sometimes focus only on other people and loving other people, which is a great thing, but they actually don't love themselves first. And this is a very, very important one. You need to look after yourself. You need to encourage yourself. So we do talk to ourselves all the time, and sometimes we don't realize that we're doing it. So for example, if you would never say for example, Excel had a health issue, I would never say to her, oh, just give up, you're not gonna win anyway, you might as well just give in to it. Oh, you know, it's painful, just deal with it. I would never say that to her, but sometimes these are the kind of things that we would say to ourselves, oh, just give up, oh, it's too much hassle, you're in too much pain, just let it go, you know. You wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
why would you do it to yourself? How important is self-love, Excel?
Oh gosh, I'm definitely a big supporter of self-love. I think a lot of the time people think it's selfish. You kind of think, oh, well, I mustn't think about myself too much. But like you said, the key is in that statement, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
So if I don't love myself to a certain standard, what kind of love am I giving to you or to anybody else? And I think we need to start, charity begins at home. That's another one. You know, you need to start for yourself. You know, what you want to give to others, you've got to give yourself just as much, because that's when you can then match it and give it to other people.
And that's the thing, just
Absolutely.
as much, if not more, I would say.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So actually, once you do start saying these positive things to yourself, you will have the strength, the actual strength to act and to fight things as well.
Absolutely.
And as I said, this is just about illnesses, any kind of battle that you're facing in life. And the fifth point is to congratulate yourself. So you might not have won your battle yet, but don't forget you are getting stronger. So be grateful for all the things you have achieved already, and do congratulate yourself for getting through another day. So for example, it was like a difficult hospital appointment, it's now over. You know, congratulate yourself, you got through another day, and you are building a backbone. If you're, you know, keep your mind positive, these are all experiences that you can share with others later, as our guest Ethan was doing, and inspiring others. So just keep that in mind. Yeah,
I mean, because I think it's important to celebrate the little victories, or people might, like you said, you know, you've made it through that appointment. Just go, phew, I did it. It's not about sort of like, oh, I've got to beat this and I've got to beat this. The doctor said it was this, and no. The whole big picture is there, but those little pieces of the puzzle, if you put them, if you don't have one piece of the puzzle, the picture won't be complete. So those little victories need to be celebrated. Each day is a hurdle that you're able to overcome. And so it's important to say, right, I got this bit right. There you go. One piece is added to the puzzle until the big picture is completed.
That is very important, Excel.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, my darling.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again next time.
Certainly.
All right, so hopefully from today's show, you've learned the importance of getting checked up regularly where possible, and especially cancer checks, whether male or female, particularly if you've been asked by your GP. So don't ignore it, because it could be a matter of life and death. And also, we've given you some tips on how to face battles. And if you want to know more about my battle and victory over depression, visit my website, mylifeafterdepression.com. And you can also get in touch with me personally from there. So sadly, that's all we have time for today. But don't forget, if you have a story to tell us, do contact us by filling in the form on chrissybshow.tv. You can also contact us by tweeting at Chrissy B Show or commenting on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Until next time, bye-bye for now. Urvashi, I said it wrong, didn't I? Urvashi. Particularly cancer check at its... but my mind sometimes goes elsewhere, thinking about, why are you nodding? Thinking about what I have to do when I go back to work. Yeah, you know that, don't you? But, yeah.
Yep, this has happened several times. Yep.
Urvashi.